Alright, what's going on, everyone? Wanted to give a quick update here on Battleship. It's been a while since I did a little coding update here. Ever since I made the last video, I've really just been grinding on Battleship. Putting a lot of hours into this. It's taken me a long time to get even remotely close to being done. Um, this is what I got here so far. It's shitty, of course, I know. But for the past few weeks, I've been working on playing the Battleship game within the console only. So that means nothing in the UI here. You're just using like console logs and all your data within the program to make it work within the console here. That's what you see on the right hand side here. So they always recommend you do that first, make a console version of your program or your project, and then you begin to structure the UI around it. So that's what I've been doing the past few weeks. Yeah, it does work fine on the console. So now I got to take all that console logic and convert it into a nice UI here. And yeah, this project has been crazy, crazy difficult. I just hate it. I really hate it. Um, just kind of show you what I got here so far. So big thing with this project, you're going to be using a lot of factories. Factories and code are just ways to create things. You're going to create like ship objects. You're going to create a player, so forth and so on, or the game board. The grid that you play the game board, the grid that you play the game on. That's what factories are. Another big thing with this project too is test-driven development. So what is good practice usually is that you write tests first, and then you structure your code around it. So you write tests and you make an assertion or an assumption about how you want your code to work. And then after you write your test, you're going to write your normal JavaScript code, and then you're going to try and make your test pass. So I'll show you a quick example of that here. So probably didn't do any justice trying to explain that, but give you a quick example. So if we go to ship factory first, for example, I'll show you the test factory first. So in my ship factory, it does one thing. It's just going to create ship objects. So this test here is testing to see if hit incrementer is incrementing, and its get hit incrementer returns 2. So get hit incrementer returns the number of hits on the ship. So if I create a ship object here and I use its hit incrementer function, well, it should be 2. If I call get hit counter, it should be 2 because I called it, or I hit it twice here. Okay. So then the second test is see if is sunk conditional and get ship status function are returning the correct status. Is ship sunk within get ship status should return true. This is just a lot of BS here. What I think is just explaining that if a battleship here is created and has a length of 4 and you hit it 4 times, it's going to be sunk, of course. So that's what I do here. I create another ship object like that. I called hit incrementer 4 times, and that if I get ship status, that returns if it's sunk or not. It should be true because it's 4 hits and the ship is sunk. Ship is 4. Ship is length of 4 and has 4 hits on it. Should be sunk. That's all. Word salad. What else we got here? Ship factory. We go here. Ship factory would take my name, length, and position. Is sunk variable, and also have a hit counter up here. We have different methods inside of here. So we have a big function. We have different functions within inside of it. Hit incrementer, increase the amount of hits. Get the amount of hits back. Another method that retrieves the number of hits. Blah, blah, blah. Ship status returns whether the ship is sunk or not. And then we're making like a return object here, which means we have access to all these different methods throughout a program. So we can access them in different modules, things like that. I think that's all for ship factory. Yep. So that's ship factory. I showed you the test file there. We have game board factory. This is a much longer file here. Okay, so we're just making our 2D array here. Initializing the game board. We have keeping track of hit shots, miss shots. Once ships get sunk, they get added to a sunken ships array. So we have a method here just to return the game board. We have a check for ship method. So before we place the ship on the board, we're just going to make sure that it's valid, that's in bounds. Okay? And we check both directions too, vertical and horizontal, making sure it's in bounds, that it's a valid placement. Okay, and then place ship down here, blah, blah, blah. If it's valid, yep, we begin to place it at that coordinate, and we want to make sure it expands its full length too. That's why we're looping through its length there, making sure that the ship gets placed on the board and expands its full length. Okay, that's it there. We have check for hits. Want to make sure we're not hitting the same square or same cell twice, so we have a function which checks for that. Okay, we have a receive attack method there. Okay, that's going to be the one that actually places hits on the board. So first, before we place our hit, we want to make sure it's legal first. That's what we're doing, check for hits. We throw an air if the hit was already there. We don't want to hit the same cell twice. Okay, it should hit 4 different cells to sink the ship or whatever the ship's length is. Okay, so if it's legal, it gets added. That selected ship increments its hit counter and its hit shots. Its coordinates get added to the hit shots array, keeping track of the hit shots and miss shots. And the last method here, checking if all ships are sunk. If all 5 ships are in the array, well, it must be true. They must all be sunk. Okay, that's game board factory. What else we got here? Player factory. I think this one's pretty short. Yep. Takes in a name. So each player and computer each have their own game board, so we're making their game board here. And there's also just getting a name too. Okay, so it's player factory, blah, blah, blah. I think last one we just have, not game board factory. What is it? Game module. We have game module and DOM logic. Yeah, a lot of files here. Game module. Okay, this is where we play the game here. Some of this will have to be refactored because, like I said, I played it in the console before. Here's create player, creating a computer user and regular user. Just call them player versus computer, whatever. Here we're placing ships on the board. This will have to be refactored here. Here I'm just kind of hard coding it, manually putting it in. But right now, that's really where I'm stuck at right now, is trying to place how to place ships on the board using like a click and drop or a drag and drop method. So that's it there. There we go. Same thing, computer's board, placing ships on the computer's board. Here we're checking for a winner. Okay, if all ships are sunk, it's returning true. That was false. An attack method, take some coordinates, and then it places them at the selected coordinates. Okay, here's the play game function. This is the main big thing here. It's going to step through this. It's going to play the game. Place the ships on the board. Okay, then we have a conditional here. If the ships are not all sunk, keep playing the game. Still ships on the board, keep playing the game. Okay, different conditionals there. Obviously, you're going to choose your attacks as the player. You're going to make your attacks on the computer's board, but the computer is just going to be random. So we're just kind of using some random coordinates here that they're going to get. That's how computer's going to make their attack. Now, if you notice, after each attack, we switch the player's turn. After computer makes their turn, we're going to switch it back to player 1. Player turn to 1, which is, the player, not the computer. Okay, it's game module, and then DOM logic is what I'm working on now. This honestly might be refactored because I don't know if I'm even on the right track doing this at all. It's super frustrating. Super frustrating. This is what I got here so far. Importing all my modules and methods that I need to access in here. That's what that's doing up there. Grabbing the main game board grid container, and we're making a little grid. We're making a little 2D, using nested loops there to make a little grid. Okay, then we're kind of styling it. And kind of show you down here. So here's where I'm kind of getting stuck here. So if I go back to the site here, what I want to do right now, if you could see this, I have my ships neatly placed down there, ready to be placed on the board. I just want to click on them, like anywhere, click on the ship there, and click it and drop it on the game board. And as I'm hovering over the game board, I should see the ship kind of highlighted there to kind of let you know, hey, we're going to place it here, we're going to place it there. So if I click on it and I hover over the game board, it should show that ship hover on the board before you place it. And you can also change the direction, horizontal, vertical. So that's what I'm working on now. It's very confusing. So definitely asking questions on that. So if I click on destroyer and I hover over the game board there, it should show, the destroyer, that little ship there on the game board as I'm hovering over it. That's what I'm working on right now. It kind of explains what kind of this is here. We're creating these little ships down here. Battleship length of 4, destroyer length of 4, patrol boat length of 2, so forth and so on. Looping through them a certain amount of length, depending on what the ship length is, and just kind of depending on the container, things like that. And inside this event listener here, that's kind of where I'm at right now. So if I click on it, I want it to hover over the game board. Kind of confusing that logic. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's pretty much everything. Yep, kind of went through everything there. It's a very, very tough project, but just wanted to give a quick update on that. Gets pretty frustrating at times, gets pretty demoralizing at times, but just got to keep going. That's all we can do. So hopefully I get an answer on my question here pretty soon. I'll have to bump it up here pretty soon again. So I'll just kind of keep working on this, just kind of doing what I can, little pieces. So until next time, guys, take it easy.